President Zelensky has applied for membership to the EU. Countries like Poland applied in 1994. They became members 10 years later. Albania, Bosnia, Serbia, they're all still waiting in line. Is the intention of the EU to fast-track the process for Ukraine?
Well, there was a resolution in the European Parliament yesterday to that effect. This is, of course, a decision of the EU member states based on a recommendation from the European Commission. But the political thinking at this point is to send a signal of support. So the process itself takes some time, as you noted, but in order for it to mean something, because it means, in general, a transformation of the economy of the society.
They have an association agreement with the EU which works on various levels. What difference does full membership to the EU make, given the context of conflict at the moment?
Well, the association is something that a number of member states or a number of states around the EU have, and it's in the words of former European Commission President Prodi, it means everything but institutions. So it's all about transforming various sectors of the economy, but making those states putting them in a position that should the political decision be taken, it would be an easier go.
I just want our listeners to listen to, and if you could as well in the background, just listen to a clip from Daria Kalenyuk, the Executive Director of the Anti-Corruption Action Center for Ukraine. And this came through 2 days ago at a press conference by Boris Johnson. And it highlights, I think, the disconnect between what Ukrainians are expecting in terms of support and what the rest of the world is actually prepared to do.
Ukrainian people are desperately asking for the West to protect our sky. We are asking for the no-fly zone. We are saying in response that it will trigger World War III. But what is the alternative, Mr. Prime Minister? To observe how our children are, instead of planes, are protecting NATO from the missiles and bombs? What's the alternative for the no-fly zone? We have planes here, we have air defense system in Poland, in Romania. NATO has this air defense. At least this air defense could shield the Western Ukraine so that these children with women could come to the border. It's impossible now to cross the border. There are 30 kilometers of lines. Imagine crossing the border with a baby or with 2 children.
If I then may ask, what is the EU's position officially on a no-fly zone?
We don't have a position at this point on a no-fly zone, to be frank. But we do have a very strong position regarding assisting Ukraine in this very difficult time. We've put forward in the last week 3 packages of sanctions, of asset freezes, freezing the assets of the Russian Central Bank, closing down media outlets that are not really media outlets. They're more state-sponsored, propaganda outfits. And we have also begun sending military assistance and non-lethal assistance to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves.
What is non-lethal assistance?
It's things like helmets and vests and personal protective gear.
So when we look at the question asked by, for instance, Daria Kalenyuk there, the only alternative right now for the world, for the EU, is to do what you are already doing from a military point of view.
Well, yes, that's the case at the moment. But let's not forget that 2 weeks ago we were in a completely different situation. The developments are moving very fast, so I don't exclude other measures coming up.
All right. Commission also proposing to activate a temporary protection directive to offer assistance to people fleeing Ukraine. What does that directive actually entail?
Well, this is a proposal from the European Commission that's been discussed already by EU interior ministers, and they will discuss them again today. And it's about offering protection to Ukrainian nationals and third country nationals who have long-term residence permits in Ukraine, as well as their family members, so that they can legally reside in the EU and work and get support in terms of education, health, and so forth.
The South African government says a diplomatic solution to the crisis in Ukraine should address the security concerns of the parties, but our government has stopped short of condemning the entry of Russia into parts of Ukraine. They also abstained in the resolution yesterday at the General Assembly. What is the EU's view on South Africa's position on the conflict?
Well, we're very happy that 141 countries joined the resolution yesterday in New York. Of course, we're disappointed that South Africa did not join but abstained. Frankly, this is a situation in which one country has a permanent member of the Security Council has performed military aggression against another independent and sovereign member state of the United Nations. It was unjustified. It's illegal by international law, and we are puzzled because South Africa sees itself and is seen by the world as a champion of human rights and international law and rule of law. So there's some bewilderment.
Boris Johnson, he's been unequivocal. Putin is a war criminal. Joe Biden, he stopped short of labeling him as such. What is the EU stance? Is Vladimir Putin a war criminal at the moment?
We are continue to stand by international law, and labeling somebody a war criminal is something for the lawyers once the evidence is in. But I would say it's The Hague certainly is something that could be in the future.
We shall leave it there. Riina, Kionka, the ambassador of the European Union in South Africa. 24 minute oor 7.